How are you, beautiful people? How are you today? So happy and grateful that you're tuning in TNM Unplugged and Zoran Todorovic Interconnected podcast. We're super grateful for you showing up every week to listen to us. And we're so grateful for your comments and likes and for you sharing our podcast with the rest of the world, because we believe we have something interesting and special each and every time. This is the space when you are elevating your heart, you're elevating your soul, you're elevating your mind to the next level of itself. You're getting inspired by the new, fresh thinking, by the new, fresh feeling, and you're listening to the beautiful life stories of our guests. And today I have a beautiful, amazing teacher, friend, and collaborator that I met under beautiful circumstances when I was delivering my first workshop in Costa Rica a few years ago. And then the life brought us together, because Zarelly Luna was at that time the yoga teacher and I was a facilitator and developer. And the moment I saw her, I told Zarelly, you need to co-facilitate with me, because her energy was so palpitating, beautiful, pure, clean, wise. And I recognized how brilliant she was from the get-go. So we begin collaborating and leading retreats together. We've done 2 so far, and I hope many more to come. And she's a very special human being. And today in this podcast, we're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about how to tap into this self-empowerment. We're going to talk about how to overcome certain traumas in our lives. We're going to, think about relationships that can scar us a little bit from the past and how to overcome those. And, how to really recognize those in our lives and what to do to become that best possible version of ourselves. It's going to be a live conversation. Zarelly will share what she is going through. I'm going to share what I'm going through. And then together, we will share some tips, tools, maybe inspiration that you can use in your own life to overcome those challenges that life gives you. So, Zarelly, welcome.
Hi, Zoran. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. What I'm going to say after that? Oh, my God.
Listen, this is...
Yes. Well, remember when you were talking about how we first met? The thing is, I don't think you know this, but I was not a teacher at Anamaya at all. Was when you asked me if I can join the retreat that I begin to teach classes there. So yeah, you are part of that network, a very important piece. So I'm very happy every time we meet and see each other. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. And for the audience, I've introduced you well, and people always react to that because I'm good with setting the stage, and they're like, oh my God, what am I going to say next? How I'm going to live to this expectation? And you will, but what I would love to do, if you don't mind, just share with people, what do you do nowadays? How would you define yourself on a professional level?
Wow, I'm still teaching on retreats. I think that's one of the things that I love the most. It's also a retreat for myself when I'm out of my regular work. That is a physical therapist, which I'm more involved in aquatic body work. I really love this work because it's very sensitive, subtle kind of work. And water is just, wow, what a healing element. So I'm more focused on water treatments right now. And we just recently opened a wellness center here in my hometown in Guanacaste, in Iberia. This is in Costa Rica. Yeah, with my sister. She's a nutritionist. So we're working together. We're blending our passions. So this is where I'm at right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And, for people who haven't been in Costa Rica, we're going to talk a little bit later why Costa Rica is such an important energetic point of this planet and what is the beauty of you experiencing yourself and retreating in Costa Rica, which I highly recommend. And, how to reach Zarelly there, which is a big connection for all of us. So, Zarelly, in preparation to this podcast, we were talking about that you've been in a space of contemplation, self-study, self-observation, really looking into yourself once again in your own personal growth and your own personal evolution. So can you share a little bit more about that? What is the significance of that? Why did you go through this process? And why do you feel it's important for us to do this self-study, self-observation, and also, self-recreation, so to say?
Yes, I will have to emphasize that this is an exercise we should do daily, on a daily basis, not always settling on where we at or what are we doing. And this self-studying became more and more aware, more conscious after a narcissistic relationship where I lost myself. This is a moment when you realize, like, wait a minute, where did I go? Where did my self, capital S, self went? And I started going back to myself, not pointing to other people or pointing the person that I was having my time with, but more looking back to myself, like mirroring myself. Mm-hmm. Where am I feeling? Why is my body feeling like this? And I started to realize I need to go out of this relationship when I start asking myself, are you happy? Are you full of gratitude today? Are you feeling safe today? Are you feeling alive today? This is a very important question. How many times we wake up and we don't ask ourselves this? We just pretend everything is okay in our daily lives, when sometimes we just need to shift maybe just a little bit, like drinking my cup of water in the morning, like a self-love exercise. And this really bring me, like this experience bring me to replant or recreate or re-guessing or questioning myself, all that beliefs that I have in myself. Why do I believe this? Am I really truly feeling this belief? Am I part of this belief? Where did this story came from? So that's where I'm at right now. When you ask me, like, where are you at right now? Where I'm just in the self-studying state. I become a student in an everyday life. I want to relearn myself again. I want to repath again to the pure essence of myself. And also I want to allow my nervous system to decompress from this experience, because the body is also a main part of the experience. Sometimes we just go to the spiritual realm, the thing that we don't see, in this dimension. But what about the body? What about the vessel that contains my pure essence? What am I doing to keep it healthy, to keep it in a constant communication with this vessel? I think that's the main reason that brought me back to that. Like, the things that I was feeling in my body and I didn't know where they came from. Like, I need to study this. I need to watch myself in a not judgmental way, not judging the ways that I was feeling, not judging my feelings, not judging my emotions. Just allow them to pass through my body. Okay, I need to allow this to pass. I need to do a tantrum. I need to cry. I need to scream. I need to be alone. I need to be with people. Go with it. Feeling it. I think that the part of feeling it is the part we are most scared of, because we're not aware of how much our nervous system is communicating or how it is communicating. So once we start learning that language, it's more enjoyable, if I want to say. Like, it's more like a conversation with a new person, So it's fresh, it's new, it's full of curiosity, this is my new word, like approach everything with curiosity, like a newborn child, just everything needs to be more curious, more innocent in that quest, like allowing the innocence to be part of it as well. And that's where compassions come in. And then you find peace, and then you can walk the process or your path with both love and full of gratitude. Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. That was amazing. I have kind of a challenging question for you, but I think it's going to be very useful for the people who are listening. And as you were sharing, I was thinking, when you are in a challenging relationship, And we all had challenging relationships in our life, and we fall in love. We kind of lose ourselves. Is that you use this? I was losing myself. I remember that relationship in my life, and I was falling in love, and I was losing myself. And I understand that this relationship was challenging, but also it was catalyzing the new thing in my life. So what you're sharing right now is the outcome, and I'm super, grateful that you're sharing the outcome of that relationship was exactly where you are right now, which is student of life, seeing things to a new perspective, being able to be fresh in your mind, being able to approach life with curiosity and the newness and freshness. So it's good. The outcome is good. But the question here is, how do we realize that we are in that relationship, which is narcissistic, and how do we get out of it? For the people who are listening to this and they're there, but they first of all don't know they're there, and the second of all, they maybe know they're there, but they don't know how to get out of it. What would you say on that? I know it's a difficult question because it might build the emotions, but I think it's important to us.
Yes. With narcissistic relationships, it's pretty tricky because they don't show at the beginning their true selves. This is just a character that they develop to make you believe in the things that you want to share with them in their lives. So you will compromise in that relationship, and they make sure that you are completely fall into this lie that they have built. So for me, when I realized that was when the words were not matching the actions actually, and when I started pointing to my partner those things and how he reacts and trying to make me feel guilty and a bad person, and then my mind started to he started messing up with my mind in a way that I believe I was the guilty person. And I think the bottom line for me was the lying, like catching the lies and confronting. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, Sari. The question, are you happy? Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling safe? Are you feeling loved, validated? Are you feeling heard? Because we went through different stages when I approached psychologists, help from the outside to us as a partners to grow. But once I realized that there was no commitment between two people, it just was one person. So this is the point of break when I was confused already. When confusion comes to your mind in the things that you love to do, that's a huge red flag. Like, why am I questioning the life I have built for myself for a long time, in which I already feel at peace, in which I already feel full, and I don't need anything from the outside. Why am I suddenly feeling scared and confused? I think when you start feeling scared and confused about yourself in a relationship, that's like when you say, no, this is not what I evolve with myself. I want to evolve as a human. I want to evolve as a conscious partner. I want to evolve in projects. I want to evolve in the spirituality. If you don't find that in the other, maybe this is not your person, and maybe your person is not spiritual, and that's okay also, because you don't have to share everything, But this is respect in the middle, and once respect is also a limit that is being trespassed, you have to realize like something is happening. Also, what helped me a lot was talking to my sister or someone that you have very close to you that can mirror you without any judgmental eyes, or go back to the tribe, the people, the community, someone you trust really, and put it out there. Speak it out loud. Your story matters. Your emotions matters. You have, I think we all as humans, especially if we are in this path of knowing ourselves and be living in a more conscious way, we have people that we trust and really care for us. I think that's very important. not to believe the whole time that we are alone, because we are not.
Yeah, exactly. And to have that support, to have that love and support, and exactly as you said, mirroring and holding, holding the space.
Because narcissistic are good in trick you in a way that you feel they change your reality, right? They change your reality. So you feel that you cannot trust even those friends in a way sometimes, they try to put you against those friends. Why? Because they are your closest network, and they know that they have value for you, and they validate you, and they care for you. So this is another alert that we have to be aware of. When someone comes into your life and tries to bring you against your tribe, there is something there that is not it's not like it's not flowing. It's not flowing at all. Like, why people that loves me should want to hurt me, No.
Yes.
So I try to speak my stories, and this helped me also to recap and realize, like, okay, because also sometimes we think that when we go to workshops and we do ancestral healing, everything is pure, just like that. But when I decided to leave my relationship, was when I saw the situation. I said, whoa, this is the work, here right now in front of this person. It's not in the ceremonies. It's not in the rituals. It's not like burning the paper and doing my meditation. No, it's in this dimension, in this exactly dimension when I need to apply all this knowledge. And I saw him in his eyes, and I realized this is the patterns. This is the stories I need to cut. I need to end, because I won't not allow myself or others to bring this to my future generations, or the consciousness, the whole consciousness as a universe. I'm blocking this. I'm saying no with love, with compassion. I don't need to explain why. Just looking at it and realize, okay, this is my ancestral healing. This is my mother wound. This is the work that I need to do right here, right now, right in front of me. And that's when courage comes. And you have to hold on to that courage inside yourself and speak the words. And I do it in a way that I was speaking also to myself. Even if this person is pushing me into my limits of being aggressive or being, beachy, or I don't know how to say the word in English. But go back to what I really know I am. I can be rude. I can call you words, and I can call you names, and I decide not to do so. Why? Because I don't want to feed that energy anymore, and I want to go back to where I feel my heart is more placed, in forgiveness and compassion. And forgiveness was another thing after, when I left, because all of this manipulation, these seeds implanting in your head keeps growing a little bit, depending on how much you feed them. So I identified the seeds. I decided to.
And what were the seeds? And what were the seeds that you identified?
Yeah, I identified confusion, not trusting. I not feeling myself beautiful, physically beautiful, not being confident anymore about the work that I do, my healing art and all of that, which is crazy because it totally allows me to see how lost I was. Like, oh my God, where did I end in this position? So those seeds of lowering your self-esteem or bringing your frequency down are there in every moment, even in the body. Like I said, the nervous system needs to discharge, to decompress. Your heart needs to discharge, to decompress. Your whole energy field needs to be charged and decompressed. I don't know if I'm going out of what the question
No,
is.
no, 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 no. You're quite, I was asking a deliberate question because you identified the seeds and you were talking about the forgiveness. So you went into, after identifying those seeds, you needed to go to the next phase of that whole journey of learning and healing and growth, which is forgiveness. And now you went into the healing of the nervous system, which I think is related because you did need to heal the nervous system to be able to forgive, right?
And it is scary and it's painful. It is a dark place to be because nobody wants to feel that way, like a shitty thing. Nobody wants to feel that way. I spent 4 days shaking in a room, just shaking, no eating, just water, no human contact. My sister just opened the door and she was like, Daddy, can I come and hug you? I was like, no, I'm discharging all of this out of my body. I'm perfectly fine. Thank you so much, but just leave me alone. So she just came like constantly checking. And this is a friend, this is a sister, someone that doesn't want to change how you feel. She's just there holding me and saying, what do you need? And I will give you that. And that's the most beautiful part of the healing also, understanding that you were never alone, that you have supportive people, that you have a tribe, that you have community, that you have the wholeness of yourself yet there inside, waiting for you to rediscover again. But this part of the healing was the scariest part of all. I have never felt that way, so scared, so shaky, so lost, so unknown. And the constant coming and going of this conversation, the words, it was replaying the movie once and again and again and again and again. Oh my God, it was so tiring. But I did it. I
did
took to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, you did it. And I think that one of the most important things that I want to highlight for everybody is what you said, that the real work happened in your real life. Because sometimes when we are hooked into the personal development, we love spirituality, we love retreating, we love meditating, transforming. I think this is all absolutely wonderful. And those rituals, the skills, the tools, the precision that we receive from those practices is great. But that comes the time when you need to do things in the real life. And the real life becomes that part when you need to apply all of this and show yourself, what you learned so far and integrate it in a congruent way in a life. So I think that's super important because sometimes, we believe we can just spiritually bypass it, and it doesn't really work like that. For some reason, the game that we chose in this reality, in this life, in this dimension, requires us to play the game in this way.
Yeah. And it is very tricky because we call that lessons in our life. I'm feel responsible of that experience. I was in a moment where I was meditating and very intentional, working on my mother's wound, my ancestral healing. I was doing all this work, really deep work. When this energy show up, and I recognized it like a potential partner. So I decided to join in this relation. It lasted a year, but it was enough to go to the wound, to the core of the wound, and rip it up from my body, seeing it face to face, and rip it up from my body, And that's the beautiful of it, the rawness of the teachings that we learn in the circles, we learn the ceremonies, we heard it and we listen and we read into these teachings, but living and having the experience, that's why I really understand, now I understand why they say we have the knowledge in our body, we have the knowledge in our DNA, we have the experience in our DNA. I remember, because it happens in seconds, when this person was screaming and talking to me, I saw the image of my grandmother grabbing their children and leaving the home. and leaving my grandfather there. And I said, yes, I have the strength of my grandmother. I can do this. I don't have children. It's going to be more easy in a way, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
I just have two dogs. I have to take my two dogs and my freedom and my spirit guides with me. That's my whole package. So that's the tricky. That's the work we came in to be. The ceremony is life. The ceremony is life.
Yeah. I am so grateful that you're sharing it like this, because a lot of the people who are listening to this now or in the future are going to find the empowerment inside of this. Because for me, you know, the transformational journey that you're sharing with us, it's the gateway for us to step into that full empowerment and full confidence, you know, that we have, exactly as you said, whatever we need, even within our DNA, even through our ancestral line from the, you know, people that came before us, even in the future self, to transform and evolve whatever we want to transform and evolve. So for me, it's so refreshing to hear that, and you're sharing it so authentically. Yeah.
Yeah. Transform and reborn. It's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. And we are blessed and ready every time we decide to go there. And I trust in that. We as humans, we were born ready. We push ourselves through the birth canal. This is something that we have to acknowledge, this bravery, this confidence that we were born with it. We were born with this confidence. We want to come out of the world. We want to explore it. There is something that we need to reclaim in that. You know, we need to reclaim our strength, our determination, and we need to reclaim also the experience in the body. And I want everybody to reclaim that. You know, I want to feel. Why are we so scared to feel? Why we need drugs not to feel? We take trips not to feel. We go to concerts, but what about if you sit with yourself one day and just listen to your story? What is the conversation you're having with yourself every day? And start with that simple thing, you know, like, what is this conversation? Because I also noticed I was every day trying to convince myself this is a place I needed to be. Okay, no, this is my partner. This is just a phase. Everything, you know, this talking. And I say, why? Why I'm trying to convince myself this is a place I need to be? Maybe it's not. Maybe I just need to move forward. And if you're scared to give up of a dream, if you're scared to give up of a partner, is scary, but this is the wound talking to you. What is your wound telling you? I want to rebirth. I wanted to reborn. I want to do it. Okay, I need to push myself through the birth canal.
Yeah. And choose it. I mean, and choose it to reborn, because sometimes it's, as you said, the courage is so important, you know, for us to make that choice. What would you say to people who listen to you and saying, you know, like, okay, Zarelly, we hear you, we hear Zoran, but Zarelly, she is a teacher. She has tools, you know, she practice, you know, her skills. She is much more evolved in the space of personal development, and she has certain things, like you mentioned, shaking in the darkness for 3 days. You know what I mean? I think this is fascinating that you've done that, you know, when you were shaking it off. So for the people who don't have this, or they think they don't have it, I would not say they don't have it, they think they don't have it, what would you say to that? I know I'm asking such interesting questions.
Yes, I love it. For the ones that have, the thing is that we all have tools. We all have tools. Let's start with that. If you're human and you have a family, you have a mom, a dad, and a sister, a brother, you have tools to survive out there. I would say look for groups in your community. If you think you're alone, if you think you have nothing to talk to, look for these people in your community because they are there. What I started because I was feeling alone, even though I have people, I have network, I have tools, I have knowledge. So I started to educating myself. I think education is key in everything. Why am I taking? So I'm studying the nervous system. I need to understand what is happening in my body. If you have heard about any concept, search for it. Narcissistic, what does it mean? How do these people act? What are the characteristics? Codependency, because we are also responsible for these things to happen. It needs to, right? So narcissistic codependency, what is codependency? What is this concept? Mental health, what is mental health? Educate yourself. I think when you have knowledge, everything changes from a perspective, and you feel even more empowered when you approach anything or any item that you used to don't have information after. We don't have born this dimension with the whole thing figure it out. That's why we have masters. That's why we have teachers. That's why we have. That's why we are students in this life.
In our life,
So educate yourself. As when you go to a yoga class, you have a yoga teacher, or when you go to school, you have a teacher. Well, become a student. Become a student of what you are living, what you're feeling, and approach it, like I said, with curiosity, not with a judgment in between. Just be curious. Just be curious with yourself. Do not point the finger at you, because this is a phase also went through. Like, wow, Sare, you have the tools and you do this, and why should you didn't leave at the time?
Yes.
Wow, I was like, wow, I'm so rough with myself. Oh my God, this girl. So become a student of everything. Don't pretend you know the thing, because we don't. So humble yourself, humble your heart, and say, okay, what is depression? Maybe I'm depressed. I don't know. I'm going to educate myself.
Exactly.
Because sometimes we even confuse depression with things that we cannot control from the outside. And I'm not depressed. I just don't have control from the thing.
Yes.
So I would say education is knowledge. Knowledge is
education, exactly. And I'm so I'm so supporting what you're saying right now, because this is how I've learned as well in my life. Sometimes people think that we need to know everything ahead of the time, but I always say information comes on need to knowledge. It need to know basis. So when you need to know something about your life and you're in certain situation that you find yourself in, then this right information will come to you, but you need to open up, you need to search, you need to study, you need to be open-minded. Exactly as you said at the beginning, Zarelly, the beginner's mind, like having this little open mind so you can absorb this information. It's extremely important to keep on that curiosity and keep on studying. And the right teachers, right information, right knowledge will come to you. And I love what you just said, that if you have family, if you're brought up in this life, if you incarnate it, you already have tools. It's just about remembering, initiating, being willing, and doing it. Seeing this life as the practice playground that we all have to go through to experience certain initiations, certain challenges, to overcome the obstacles, to overcome our traumas, to heal ourselves, to restore, and to become, the best possible version that we want to see in our lives. So, I love what you just said about that too.
Yes. And I identified this myself because I was sharing my story, and I realized like a lot of women doesn't have this information, cannot, and men doesn't have the outside vision of seeing things. So I started to educate, and now I do one podcast a month about narcissistic relationships, codependency, how we heal from the trauma, ways that you feel normally feel after a trauma. So also as a person who experience, I think it's important to give it a voice with conscious, a voice of growth, because we are not judging, we're not pointing, we're educating, and we are trying to make other people and other souls to elevate in this frequency and heal together. So as part of all these tools and all this knowledge also comes the other part, like a year after, a year of healing, a year after that, I'm teaching and I'm sharing my experiences from a more awareness perspective. I'm not attacking. I want everybody to go inside, open themselves, and drag into their drawer of emotions what is in there, and let's do a lot together, because I feel it's important that we understand there's more than how many billions of people in this planet?
7.5.
7.5 billion people in this planet. Why should we think we came here to do things alone? There's no way. There's no way.
Yes.
So we are different. We are here in this earth from different planets, different galaxies, different body experiences. We're here to share that. What is the knowledge that you have? What is the experience that you have? And this is where the tribes gather. They gather in a circle and they put out there the situations in their lives, in their tribe, and they share what they know, what they have experienced, and together they build up a healing, a practice, a meditation, like a tale, something, a mantra, something that you can go to, reach, hang on to it, and come back to life. Yeah.
What an amazing and beautiful teacher you are. We have only 5 minutes left, so we have to wrap it up and get into the closure of this conversation. You and I, we can talk for hours. And maybe we open a podcast marathon and then people listen to us all day long. But for this format, we can wrap it up. So if you think about what you shared so far, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being so authentic and so real and so vulnerable to share your life with the audience, and to be a role model and example, and also to share your breakthrough and your struggle and your getting through it and healing yourself. I think it's super inspiring when people are courageous enough and open enough to share. So having in mind what you shared, where would you like to leave the audience with? What would you like them to maybe play with, practice, any kind of last piece of wisdom that comes naturally to you as a closure of this conversation?
I will have to say, tap always into yourself. Always, always, always. If you go to the street and you see an ice cream shop, do I really want this ice cream? Or I'm just venting the ice cream out. If you are opening a practice, is this practice really in touch with my essence? Am I connecting with this practice? Ask yourself. And what I want to encourage is self-communication. That's what I mean, before asking outside, ask inside. Start this conversation with yourself, with your body. I think that's key for a human to live in this existence. If you can establish communication with your body, especially your nervous system, which I have been studying a lot, because the nervous system is just the intuition is just the language of the nervous system. And that's what I'm going to say. Intuition is just the language of the nervous system. When you understand this language, intuition just boom, becomes even a huge, big radar. You have no idea how expanded it can be. But you need to be aware of this language. You have to be conscious of this language. You have to be able to communicate back to your nervous system as well. So become a student of your nervous system, and everything will boom, explode on your face, literally.
And I mean, how not to highlight this at the end. Intuition is the language of your nervous system. Get to know your nervous system to be able to expand your intuition. I think this is a beautiful piece of wisdom that can get us to really contemplate. And I know a lot of the people who are listening to this would appreciate this really very much, because that's one of these things that I was talking about, elevating your heart, elevating your soul to the next level with the new approach of wisdom. So thank you so much for that. If you want to follow Zarelly, you can go to Zarelly Luna on Instagram and you can find her. And Zarelly is with 2L. And then also you can go to www.zarellyluna.com to see the wonderful images, her work, to connect with her and to understand her profound and beautiful wisdom. Zarelly, thank you so much for coming today. Gracias, gracias, gracias. And I cannot wait to see you soon in the other recording. It was amazing to listen to you. Thank you once again. Gracias.
Thank you, Sana. Thank you, everybody who's listening. Share your stories, share your stories, share your stories.